and welcome to today's VC Task Force Gary's Picks event for investors and startups. My name is Joel Rosenberg, Director of Business Development and Strategy for VC Task Force. VC Task Force is an organization where the venture community comes together to address critical issues, provide workshops and other events for the benefit of the venture and entrepreneurial communities. VC Task Force provides access to an extensive ecosystem of VCs, corporate VCs, and angel investors. You may ask questions anytime during the event, and time permitting, they will be answered live after today's interview. It is my pleasure to welcome Gary's Picks host, Gary Fowler. Gary is CEO and co-founder of GSD Venture Studios, an award-winning growth stage AI venture studio. Gary is also co-founder of the award-winning AI startup Eva.ai, as well as the investment firm DY Investments. Today, Gary will be interviewing special guest Lawrence Paranidharan, founder and CEO of SecondSight.ai. SecondSight.ai's mission is to become a top-tier AI-driven employment interview platform by enabling organizations to reduce time to hire by 80% and increase candidate job match accuracy by 50% in the next 3 years. As the founder and CEO of Second Sight, Lawrence brings decades of technology experience to his entrepreneurial journey, combining a deep passion for innovation with cutting-edge tech expertise. With a strong background in building large-scale enterprise applications and cloud solutions, Lawrence's leadership is grounded in the ability to manage multiple high-complexity projects, balancing both business and technology interests. Take it away, Gary.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks, everybody. So, Lawrence, I got a question for you. How in the world do you go from Madras to Austin, Texas? What was that journey like?
Wow, that's like 28 years ago. I came here on a deputation while I was working with the TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. So I spent about a year in Chicago. I landed in Chicago. Then I was like a programmer working in the mainframes. My first client was True Value, and worked on a lot of reports, a lot of custom programming. And on the way back, another company, they made me an offer, and that was pretty attractive. So I went back home, India. Then they sent me a visa to come back, and that is how my journey in the US started.
So you went down through it. You did you went down through and you worked at Bearing Point, right? You started off at Bearing Point as a consultant, and then the Channel Live. What was that work? You were the president and CEO of that company. How did you do that? How did you get that started? And I know you grew it to what, $2 million in revenue?
Yeah, 2002, 2003, I was kind of pretty fascinated by the video streaming technologies. So I started to explore more about it, and there was a need for me to kind of get into that space because from India we love watching cricket, and there was a scarcity for watching cricket in the US. So somehow we wanted to stream that to multiple few of my friends, and that kind of poked my interest into developing a solution. So 2003, I was able to stream a cricket match for about 10 of my friends, and that kind of led into more interest. Then 2006, I really wanted to do something on my own, so developed a platform, something similar to Netflix. So end of 2008, I had a contract cut with all the Indian major television networks. So end of 2008, we launched it. So worked with companies like Roku, Samsung, Panasonic. So that was a time when the streaming industry is kind of started to proliferate. Every company wanted to be in there, especially the streaming device manufacturers, Samsung, Roku. So they all worked with us to bringing our content in there. So so that is my journey, and we had a great great growth for a period of 4 or 5 years. Then the consolidation happened, the content consolidation. So I felt that was the right time for me to take an exit.
And did you sell it?
Yes, I sold it to another competitor who was consolidating, which is called FTV. So that's my exit. Yeah.
Now, how was it selling the company? What did it feel like? Did you feel good or bad, or was it time to get out?
I think it was a mixed feeling. I think it could have been, in hindsight, a lot of things could have been done better. Halfway through, I had one advisor telling that, hey, take the content part outside and the technology part outside, just focus on the technology. Uh, but I think it was a little too late for us to do that pivot. I wish I had an advisory board during the start of my that startup, but nevertheless, it was a mixed feeling. But I was glad to take that exit, no matter what. Yeah.
And so what did you do the day you decided to exit? Did you take a vacation or did you just dive into Vidillion?
Yeah, I took a break. Then, since I have a network of, people, founders, in that same industry. Vidilian contacted me. Hey, can you help us with some of the ad tech, which is kind of, overlaps with the streaming technologies. So I said, okay, let me, give it a try and take that project. Yeah. So small break
Now,
and
how was it going back to becoming the CEO or COO and VP of engineering for Dillion after running your own company? Was it tough?
yes, definitely different for sure. But you kind of come from the same startup ecosystem, so you understand to wear different hats, and it's just now you have a different boss, but implementing their vision is your job. So, but it kind of the same startup mindset was kicking in. But the only difference is you are executing or developing something for someone else's vision.
Well, I understand so Vidillion, but why in the world did you go to BCG?
Again, I took a break, then a manager or director from BCG called me through a known network, and hey, we need some help with AWS. And it's been a long time for me for worked in a corporate environment or enterprise in an environment. So I thought, okay, let me try. It's been more than a decade. So that was the reason, just to retaste that corporate environment.
So now you have one of your things that you had in your information was stealth mode founder.
Correct.
What is that?
So that is the second site, .ai. So still in the stealth mode, and we are getting closer to go public, or go in the out. So until then, we wanted to refine the product and get satisfied the way that we wanted. So until then, we wanted to be, keep it in stealth mode.
And so tell us a little bit about it. So what do you want to do with that product?
So the objective is to help recruiters and hiring managers to reduce their lead time, to find the best candidates going into the second round of interview by over 10x. So with this, we are saving a lot of time, a lot of, as a result, all the resources, time is calculated and convert that into money. It is a lot of savings for the company. And we estimated about 60 to 70% savings a company can do for in their hiring process.
Now, how did you come up to this conclusion and what kind of customer development did you do to get there?
So I founded, still I run this company called Paranidharan, which is an IT services company where we do staff augmentation, recruitment process outsourcing. So as a part of it, we do a lot of candidate search. We do a lot of interviews with the candidates. Sometimes we wanted to do very quickly, quick turnaround. So that is when we realized how much time we are wasting as part of it, and the pain that comes with it, scheduling conflicts, the volume of resumes that we need to screen, the amount of time that we are spending with the candidates just for asking a few questions. So that is a real pain, and we felt the same pain with other staffing companies and hiring managers as well. So we thought, there should be some kind of a solution that we can build. So we saw a lot of other, kind of a previous generation technologies like one-way interview and other type of, video type interviews. The experience that it comes, it's not a very pleasant one, both in terms of hiring manager perspective and also from a candidate point of view. It is not the greatest experience. So with the advent of, AI, we thought that may be a good product that we can develop, where we are leveraging AI technologies to bring up the experience, to elevate the experience much better, to have a conversation, real conversation type of interviews. So here, what we are doing is mindful of the candidate's perspective, like they are not creating a mood that they are talking to a mission. Rather, it gives comfort that it is more empathetic, it is more contextual on the conversation, what is happening. At the same time, it is the agent is capable of asking the right questions that are suitable for the job description, and also the company culture, the company fit, and matching that with candidates' resume. So all these
So,
combination is what the conversation is going to look like.
so how have you been funded so far? Are you self-funded or did you raise any money?
We are self-funded right now, and we are in the process of raising money, and that's going to be our seed round. And we are feeling confident about our product. At this point, we are at a MVP level, trying to onboard one customer as a beta customer here.
And so what's next?
Next is, I think we are product first focused at this point. This is definitely a wild west. So we are experimenting our models, and overall the interview experience is what we are keeping our focus. So we'll fine tune that and then get the highest interview quality that we want, both from identifying the best candidates, the candidate score, as well as the candidate experience. While we're doing that, we'll be onboarding beta customers in a very very careful manner, until we get about 20-30 customers. We'll be very careful. Post that, we'll be scaling up. So in that process, we are raising money to keep more focus on the product, the operations, and the feedback loop that we get it, back, the data that we collect from the interviews.
So Lawrence, as you're going down through this journey, there's a lot of people that have studied at places like IIT Madras, right? And they have a dream. What were the lessons that you learned going from being a technologist to being an entrepreneur? If you could say there's 3 lessons that you learned, what are those lessons?
I think, I think I already told, having a good advisory board is definitely, a must.
So what
And
does the advisory board do? You talk about it, but tell me what you expect from an advisory board.
I think I come from a background where I'm really focused on the technology and the studies, like very academic, right? I have no idea about how the entrepreneurial ecosystem works, how to raise money. And my thought process was, you have to put in your money to become grow a company. That's all the mindset that we have.
You think that's true?
No, it is not true.
And why?
I think, there are,
I'm giving you some lessons from GSD. We're going to talk about it. Why?
I think the gap between the engineers and the capitalist, the people with the finance or the capital, the distance between these two are pretty wide in India, at least in the 80s and 90s. And we kind of grew up from that kind of a mindset. When we came here, we didn't realize the gap between these two, the brightest of the mindset and the finance, are pretty close. We have no idea about it. So I think it is coexisting here. I think you come up with the idea, somebody comes to put some money, and all of a sudden you have a kind of a very high growth in the momentum is built. I think that
Because of why, Lunch? Remember the lessons. Because
of network accelerations and
yeah, because they become your greatest cheerleaders, right?
yes,
Remember, there's 3 components: access to capital, operational
absolutely.
expertise, and networking contacts. And have the 3 of those, and you have a great team that's willing to pivot, the first part of it, you got it right because you understand what your weaknesses are. And that's the first part. Not everybody does. But if you want to grow a company to $1 billion, you need to understand that and you need to get inside of the club, right? Inside of there to get those cheerleaders to support you. There's one thing about getting money, but there's another one getting expertise. Only 10% of the VCs, so you look at it, only 10% of the VCs, and the average age is 24 to 33, have ever built a company
Yeah.
in general. And so they're telling you how to do it, but they're using financial models to be able to drive the business. Financial models don't always work because when you're building a company, a lot of it's on relationships, right? And trust and credibility. Sometimes we forget, keep it simple, stupid, right? Think about the rules. And, as we look forward, the family offices are some of the greatest investors that are out there that they're untapped. Why? Because the families have a titanium door because they don't want everybody coming in trying to pick their pockets. But if they find something they like, something that's enchanting, as my friend Guy Kawasaki says, everything changes. So be
You're
enchanted.
absolutely right. I think the network, the people that you know, and who can help in many ways. I think that plays a huge role in this whole equation. Yeah.
I mean, you can take a little tiny company, and if you get those look at Facebook, right? Facebook's a stunning example. You get a company, and somebody like Peter Thiel gets involved. All of a sudden, oh, why is the company so successful? Of course, because you get inside of the Silicon Valley network, the global network.
Yeah, absolutely. And another example is, Perplexity is another big example. And IIT student coming like 6 or 7 years ago, he was in Chennai. All of a sudden, where he was, the right place at the right time, with the fantastic skills to back him up. All of a sudden, it's backed by now Jeff Bezos putting in $500 million and so on. Wow. So that's a perfect example.
Yeah, and you have to be, a lot of it's serendipity too. You have to put yourself in those situations where those people are around.
Correct. Absolutely.
I just came back from an event. I think you heard about it, when had our session, but you're up there with some of the wealthiest people in the world. They're very interested in generative AI. They don't know enough about it, but they have a lot of money and they're
Yeah.
interested. And finding those right kind of companies that have the right skill sets, that have the right mentality, that have the capability to be able to become a unicorn, it's hard for them to find, just as it's hard for you to find the money from them. It's very interesting. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so if you advice, so we're going down through it. So the advice to the startups, let's say we're coming from an IIT or IIM in India. What kind of advice, what would you tell them? If there's just one thing you could tell them coming over here, what was the greatest hurdle you have? And what is something is it a cultural hurdle or is it it's understanding the startup ecosystem? What's one hurdle you had to overcome to be successful?
I think the ecosystem has changed back home. There's a lot of information is passing around, and especially the startup ecosystem is definitely starting to build up. They are aware of a lot of Sequoia capital and other capital coming in. I think if you have an idea, I think as you said, keep it simple, stupid. Um, just come with confidence.
The KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. Absolutely right.
Yeah,
Sometimes forget it.
correct. It can be a small thing, and if you can focus on that, I think you will get a lot of support in the Silicon Valley and across US. The ecosystem is fantastic. So come with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, believe in your dreams. I did a TED talk about 12 years ago. It's called Unleashing Human Potential.
Yeah,
And it's still out there.
right.
And, I was talking about it then. The soft side of building a billion-dollar company is believing in yourself and your dreams. In psychology, we call it the self-fulfilling prophecy, the Pygmalion effect. You believe what you believe, you become what you believe you are,
Yeah,
whatever that is. Some people call it manifesting, et cetera, but in psychology, it's known as a Pygmalion effect. And in fact, there was a study done at Stanford University called Determined Studies. They did a longitudinal study. They had two groups of kids. Probably wouldn't happen today, right? Because they wouldn't allow it. I don't know if you remember, but they had two groups of kids. They were both the same IQ, average IQ. And what they did is they told the teachers that one group was gifted and the other one was normal. And so what happened is they became what they thought they were, which is they got more attention, they got more help. And so the people that were average became gifted, actually. Their IQs actually moved up. And so it's very interesting. And life's all about that. So for all the startups that are out there, for all those companies, think about it. Lawrence has gone through the journey from Madras, came over here with the dream, and turned into an incredible company called Second Sight that just coming out, early stage startup. You each have the same capability to be able to do it. It's not about giving up. Muhammad Ali said it, several fighters have said it. It's not who gets knocked down, it's who gets back up. So getting back up is really important. And if you're having a bit of fun, you're enjoying yourself, some happiness, a little dust of happiness, you've got storytelling is 90% of building a unicorn. If you have all those ingredients, you put them in the pot and mix them up, the probability of success dramatically goes up. Today, we say 9 out of 10 companies fail. It's not because they don't have the right product. It's because they don't know how to execute properly. Execution's key. Make it beautiful, make it so people can feel the words, right? Paint pictures with words. Get out there. Don't be afraid to do your customer development. Go out and validate your assumptions, and each one of you can have a higher probability of success. Lawrence, thanks for taking your time. Closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you?
You can reach me at my email or my LinkedIn profile is Lawrence and P. That's my LinkedIn profile. And my email is first name Lawrence dot last name Paranidharan at secondsight.ai.
That's excellent. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. And thanks to everybody today for joining the session. Gary's Picks. My name's Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. We'll be back to you again soon with another exciting edition. Joel?
Yes, thank you very much. Lawrence, that was excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your experiences. It's very valuable to our audience. Gary, we're going to officially change your name, you to Professor Fowler. You've got so many great insights, and I really appreciate that.
I would just calculate, I've been involved in tech in Silicon Valley for 40 years. So you get 40 years behind you, you get a lot of insights. It's interesting when you meet those, the people that started the $1 trillion companies, right? You've hung out with them, them, you've been to their offices for lunch. It's amazing. But that's what the Valley's all about. There is magic in the Valley. It is enchanting.
And you're doing something that a lot of folks of our generation are doing, which is giving back, and that's wonderful. That's the greatest gift, is to give back. So thank you all. Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Until then, stay well and take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, June. Thanks, Joel. Take care, Lawrence. I'll see you soon.